San Fernando's farther up, dude. Yeah, this is Magnolia, right? Yeah, I was going to say turning the lights off, not going to help you. Running red lights, not a good idea. A lot of construction, a lot going on in Burbank lately. Yeah, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. Somebody got to let him know IKEA's closed. Whoops. Coming back around. I bet he's going to get back on the 5. What do you think? Ooh, this is a dangerous spot over here. A lot of traffic. Wrong side of the road. Nope, maybe not. Is this part of Scott or is this still Magnolia? Okay, so this is San Fernando. Yes, this is San Fernando. This is where they used to have that weird under and over that they filled. Hey, Facebookers, remember when we used to do pursuits in the old days? Well, we got one going right now. This is a very dangerous one, and I mean dangerous in so many different terms. The guys are, let's be careful with the gender. The people, the suspects inside this vehicle, occupied times 3, meaning there's 3 people inside that car, all of them known as armed and dangerous gang members. That's the original one. LAPD in pursuit. We're in the Burbank area. This guy driving nuts. If you guys are local, watch the news later on. I'm sure some of those highlights will be on there. Using all the lanes of the freeway. I mean, basically a hard right and back on the 5 freeway. This guy seems to like the 5 freeway. When I say guy, I mean driver. Really likes the 5 freeway. He's been on the 5 multiple times. High speeds actually on San Fernando Road. It started over in the, let's just say right by the Burbank Airport. North Hollywood-ish. LAPD got behind it, lights on, the pursuit was going. From the get-go. LAPD helicopter got up overhead very, very quickly. At some point, the LAPD helicopter had an issue with Burbank's air traffic. When I say issue, let's be clear about that too. It's just one of those days. They were giving directions saying you got to move for the departing aircraft, the departing jets. So they actually had to give it up for a moment. The helicopter did, but the guys on the ground, great job, stayed behind it, and high speeds for sure. Helicopter picked it back up. We went south on the 5, went down to the Burbank area, out there by the media center and etc., racing around, and now we're basically northbound 5, kind of heading back towards that same area. Not going to play that game, say, oh, well, he's going back to a place where he's familiar. I have no clue where this guy is going. What I can tell you is these maneuvers, high speeds, hard braking, fishtailing is what we've been seeing. Getting off Glen Oaks, this is basically the area where he got on earlier on. Right now, it looks like hard on the brakes, cutting everybody off, making that turn underneath the 5 freeway. This is an area where they played that rope-a-dope once before. They actually lost a car right there. I know that because that really cool steak place is right there. But this time, he's got too many officers on his tail. LAPD in force, on the ground. This guy moving extremely fast. Hollywood Way, I get twisted around. East-west, it gets a little confusing, but basically he's heading into the valley, so let's call that south right now. Basically working his way back towards Burbank Airport. Hopefully my pilot today, Timmy, working very hard to keep us clear of any other aircraft and also talking to Burbank Airport. Right now they're saying 187 suspect. Now that's going to mean homicide suspect inside that vehicle. That probably follows that armed and dangerous, but it's times 3, so we don't know exactly which one. Is it the driver, is it the passenger? Don't know that information, but I can tell you, I got to work. Yes, Mark, what can I do for you? Woo! Hard brake! Whoa! Whoa! That was a tough one right there. My assignment desk maybe a little behind the curve, listening to a delayed conversation that we're having, giving me information that this is the 187 suspect. Did you guys hear that? Because I think I told you that. Whoop, getting blocked in, cutting that guy off. This kind of driving is just what you'd never want to see. A lot of these folks out here, that's going to be westbound Empire from Hollywood Way, that's the type of driving you never want to see. Those are innocent folks out there just go about doing their thing. You know what? If somebody out there is going, you know what? Who cares about those people? You know what? Thinking that could be your mom. You know, your mom or your elderly dad out for a drive, coming back getting groceries, and you got this lunatic right there cutting them off. I would be pretty upset. I can tell you I would not be happy, and I always kind of put that in perspective. So this guy basically endangering other people's lives and property. We got to wait right now to cross Burbank. So I'm going to get a little bit wider now. I'm doing that to make the picture look a little bit better later, unless I feel the helicopter start moving, and it is starting to move, so we can go back in tight. Hard on the brakes again. We've been seeing a lot of this. I'm wondering how much that little Honda Accord can take. It's an older car. When I say older, probably about a 2000 something. So, you know what? Maybe it's not an antique by any means. Right now, though, LAPD right on the tail. That one Ford Explorer, that driver right there, I mean, he's got to get a gold star by his name. He's been on it from the get-go, never lost sight of this vehicle. Some of the guys that he has in trail have fallen behind at one point. That guy's been saying wrong side of the street, coming up on Violent, hard on the brakes again early. There's a lot of dust and grit in that center island, so it's going to be slippery. And going to get stuck in a little traffic. Is this a red light? Whoa! Oh, ho, ho, ho. And this is the thing, too. You're driving along, you got the green lights, you're always kind of scanning, you're always being safe, and then you got that kind of stuff happening. I got to tell you, that was a rough one. LAPD still behind them, though. This is the thing. LAPD, they've got to basically obey those laws. You can't just blow through those lights. They got to slow down. They are lights and sirens. I have to say, though, the public at large, I've been watching a lot of folks pulling to the right. I like to see that for sure. Another solid red. You can see LAPD slowing right there. I don't think that was Sherman Way, but I think Sherman Way is coming up no, Sherman Way is not coming up. We're paralleling Sherman Way. Come on, Stu. You grew up in the valley. Anyway, the pursuit continuing on. Westbound Van Owen. Hard left turn. Southbound. We'll get a street here. Even the helicopter having a little trouble on this little side street. So a small side street off of Van Owen. Continuing on out here. Smaller streets, darker area. Don't know if this is going to be a spot where he might want to bail out, because this pursuit, these officers are right behind him. But you got intersections that are just stop signs. Pretty dangerous stuff. This guy's blowing through there. He's got some speed bumps in this area as well. Slowing down a little bit. When I say slowing down a little bit, let's just say he's going 40, 30 in these areas right now. It's a little better than 90 on the streets earlier on, but you got a lot of folks out here. This is a very residential area. Pretty dangerous. That was Victory, a solid red. Amazing how that stuff is working right there. This vehicle continuing on, though, keeping this pursuit moving. Homicide suspect in the vehicle. Don't know if he's behind the wheel. Don't know if it's a she. But 3 folks inside that car, suspects this evening. The driver driving very erratically. Again, I've said it 1,000 times. You got to wonder what these other guys are saying in there. Either that or they're just too scared to say anything. But at any rate, you've got to wonder. It's like you've got 3 people inside there. You've got 3 conscience going. Somebody's got to say, hey, man, I don't want to die. I don't want to get in a bad wreck. Coming back up on Lancashire, through Lancashire, staying on these little side streets. The car seems to be slowing down. I wonder if that's by design, or maybe perhaps the conversation I just spoke of might be happening inside that car. We'll never know. Coming up on another street right there, another smaller street, making his way around. This area right here, very residential, older. I'd call this almost older Hollywood, as in a lot of twisty, windy, not so much north-south square blocks. So we're going to keep an eye on what's going on out here, working his way back towards Lancashire, I see. Oxnard, sorry, it was Oxnard. Oxnard was the right answer. You've got control of the board. All right. Back out on Oxnard, I would guess. Approaching Lancashire. Oh, this is just one of those ones. Look at a bicyclist. Oh, nope, some guy. Just some guy. Southbound Lancashire from Oxnard. Now everybody knows that this area if we continue on. Whoop, he didn't. Never mind. Those brakes getting hot. I'm seeing a lot of sparks. I'm seeing a lot of heat. Just caught a glimpse of that on the driver's side front wheel. That was pretty sparky. So wondering how his braking is doing. That might be one of the reasons why he's slowing down. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it's going to be one of the reasons why he just says, you know what, I got to stop. You look at the sparks. Look at the sparks right there. So that car's starting to fail right there. 3 people inside this car, 3 suspects. You know, starting to make these hard turns right here, keeping the rope-a-dope going. Round and round we go in this residential neighborhood. Helicopter overhead, nice shot right there. And of course, LAPD on the ground. You know, that guy that's right behind him, that driver of that law enforcement officer, that LAPD law enforcement officer in that Explorer, been right there all the time. Amazing work. You get a kind of a look at some of the other folks that are inside the car, at least the passenger. Little whipping around right there, keeps this pursuit going. Back on Lancashire. If he stays south on Lancashire, no, we're going north on Lancashire, right? Northbound, yeah, I just looked out the window. Thanks, Timmy. You know, the longer these go, you just think the higher the odds are that something catastrophic is going to happen. You never want to see that. And this one's been going for a good click here. And this guy just continues to drive beyond reckless. I mean, we're on the internet. I'm going to use the K word. This guy is a knucklehead for sure. LAPD, they're starting to think that this may be coming to an end as well. More sparks there from that front right driver's side. That brake, one of those vendors there pushing a cart. Eastbound Victory right now from Beck. Now they're starting to wonder if this guy is in his neighborhood, in his element, as it would be. Right now, though, they're just starting to put a plan together. But this car running every stop sign, not slowing for any kind of controlled intersection at all. That vehicle, yeah, you got to wonder. There's those sparks again. I don't know if you guys can really see them. But those sparks continue to just be thrown out of that front driver's side. And you've got to wonder how those brakes are handling. Maybe when he's hitting those brakes, one of the reasons why he's all over the place is because he's fighting that steering wheel. At any rate, these are all this should be not an issue. You should just stop. A little bit back on the brakes. A busy street up here. We'll get a street name here in just a second. Looks like we're going to be westbound-ish. Westbound. Sadly, heading back towards the Burbank airport, which might be an issue for us, but we don't know. We'll stay positive. Live in the moment, Stu. Look at those sparks. It looks like he's got one of those holiday sparklers stuck in there in the front wheel. Coming up hard on the brake, and another hard turn right there. Back. I think this is back on Lancashire, right? That's Lancashire again? You can't cross. LAPD helicopters being held. I'm thinking that this is going to be Sherman Way. But he's making his way back towards the airport again. We're going to stay with it. The camera will do its work. Timmy will keep us safe and make sure that when we can make that move. And you can see other officers of the law out there. And I say that because I'm not sure if that's going to be... it wasn't Sherman Way. That was Lancashire. He just crossed Sherman Way. Other law enforcement out there basically keeping the public safe. Everybody is antsy, like you have no idea. We want to get across the airport. Even the LAPD helicopters being held, just letting you know that. But they've got the benefit of, not having to hold the shot. They just got to know where it is. And it's continuing on northbound on Lancashire. Dog and a man. Jeez, oh, Pete, frickin' A. Just got out of the way. Anyways, pursuit continuing on. It looks like we're starting to move. I don't know, Gould. We are moving. Looks like he's doing that center lane again. And whenever he does that, I'm always thinking he's going to make that hard left. We're going to be catching up here in just a second. We have the benefit of being able to go much faster than he can. LAPD, they're in pursuit. And, of course, this is continuing on. I would like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at, geez, oh, Pete, guy. And it looks like we're making a turn, and I know this area. It's either going to be Tuxford or Roscoe. Tuxford or Roscoe. And actually, this will take us Webb. That's Webb. That's Webb, and it'll take us over to Roscoe or Tuxford, depending upon where it pops out. Very industrial area out here, but that doesn't mean that there's not a dog or a cat walking around, or maybe some guy crossing the street to go home. So anyways, we're keeping an eye on this. You're doing that wrong side of the road again. A lot of traffic, bad brakes. I was really worried because there were trees in the way. Making that hard turn over there by that temple. We'll get you the name of the street here in just a minute, but we're back into another residential area. We're in the area of the 170 and Roscoe. Southbound Laurel Canyon from Roscoe. I wonder if that passenger's just catatonic, like, you know, this has just been too much adrenaline and he just passed out. He's just kind of sitting there. It just amazes me that the passengers go along with this. It just, you know, anyways, the human mind will always be a mystery to us. Anyways, keeps on going out here, extremely high speeds, 187 suspects. That means homicide suspect inside that vehicle. I don't think they're all suspects. They may be. Another hard turn back into another very residential area, and I would almost say, I'm trying to look out the window because I'm not North Hollywood area. Somebody's calling me? Eastbound. Eastbound Stag from Laurel Canyon. This is the area where it started, guys and gals. Just letting you know. Ooh, that trash can. Somebody's going to have to pick up that mess. And it keeps on moving. There you go again. Just somebody, you know, that wasn't intentional. That was a guy waiting to pull into his driveway. And this crazy nut just came through and took out the trash cans. I hope my son took the trash cans out. It's trash day at my house, too. And it also shows you, I mean, that guy could have been standing there when that happened. Back out onto another major using the power of the lens. This is going to be Lancashire. We are? All right. Timmy was just saying how we're going to pick up some speed. He was talking about to get around the building. I thought he was talking about the car was starting to pick up some speed. Seems like the passenger wheel is starting to throw a little sparks as well. Got to worry about that braking system, and I'm serious about that. Southbound Lancashire through Saticoy, and I'm going to stop talking about the brakes unless it becomes like a real issue. Look at that. Look at I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. People on their bikes just crossing the street. This is beyond dangerous. Back over to Sherman Way, everybody. Sherman Way. An officer from LAPD actually blocking traffic right there, which is good. Nice. Very nice. Hey, I just got a notification that something's going on. I know. Timmy, I'm telling you, man, wrong side of the road, little bit of traffic. Howard Pringle saying brakes are for mistakes. Looks like the car is smoking. It's not. You know, Brandy's saying that the car is smoking. Basically what's going on is he's riding the center lane so often. There's a lot of dust and grit out there. And the only reason I really point that out is not because of the dust like that coming off, is when you step on the brakes, you're just going to slide. It's something also to keep in mind if you're driving in that lane. Look at that, another solid red. This guy not seeing. Look at this. What are you doing, buddy? Can't you see the flashing lights and sirens? All right, keep it going. Let's go find the bad guy. There he is. This pursuit continuing on out there. That center island up there, the areas that don't get used get a lot of dust and grit, and it makes it really, really dangerous. Back into an area that we were at before. I think this is over here by Stag again. North Hollywood, right there by the Superior, right off of Lancashire. He's been in this neighborhood a couple of times. Don't know if he's familiar. Don't know if it's just, whoop, look at this guy riding his bike out there. It's dark. And looks like he's picking a spot to run, or maybe he just dropped somebody off. I didn't hear it, but he definitely came to a stop underneath that tree. Don't know if that was for our benefit, because that's where it usually ends up for me, because we can't see what's going on. But those, you know, he's got to think. He's just look in your mirror. They've got officers of the law right behind you. You've got no place to go, buddy. Just pull it over and assume the position. Tahunga, southbound Tahunga. He is kind of slowing down. I got to wonder about the brakes. We saw the driver's side kind of give out first, and then the passenger side now starting to throw some sparks. Mari's asking if I keep my eyes glued so I don't miss anything. You know I do. This is my job. LAPD helicopter crossing in the shot. Another, oh my goodness. He has hit every red light on every major intersection. I think maybe what we had like, yeah. Mr. Brown, sir? All right. Ooh. You mean it? Woohoo! Look at that. Oh. You know, we saw a lot of that earlier on. That's the first time we saw a maneuver like that in a little bit. He's starting to get a little bit more desperate, which also is not good. Not good. This guy is going to get more desperate. He's got his car's getting tired. He's probably might be getting fatigued as well. And now you just don't want to see a mistake where somebody gets hurt. But these guys, at least one of them, wanted homicide suspect. Eastbound Victory coming back up on Tonga. North Hollywood. Oh, gee, woof, woof, woof. A lot of traffic to hung in this area, very tight. Oh, hard on the brakes. This is where it's going to come to an end. Right there. Oh, the car's going. The car keeps going. Let's see if he picks him up. Oh, that's a buddy. That's a buddy right there. That's a buddy. Whoa! Oh. No. No honor among thieves, I'll tell you that. He's basically making a big circle. There might be a lot of officers still back there in that area, for good or bad. That one officer coming around the corner. Oh! If they didn't swap paint, it must have been millimeters. That was Beck and Victory. That intersection, Beck and Victory. Guys and gals on the net, just letting you know, turn on Channel 9. You know what? Crystal Cruz and Suzanne Marquez. Is that who it was? Let me double check. Who are the anchors? Crystal Cruz and Suzanne? Suzanne Marquez? Okay. Oh, no. 10 seconds. We're getting back into Burbank. Son of a gun. Are we? Yes. Northbound to Onga, approaching Farmdale. That's right, extremely dangerous, and dangerous in so many different levels. This guy driving extremely reckless. That Honda that he's driving starting to fail. Seeing sparks coming out the front wheels. All 4 tires still on it. No spike strips have been deployed, but the brakes are starting to give up a little bit on this vehicle. Coming back out, as I understand, back to Lancashire, northbound Lancashire, North Hollywood area. That's where we are. But not only this dangerous driving, and the public basically the ones that I'm worried for, but the person inside this vehicle, a wanted homicide suspect and possibly armed. LAPD, they've got their hands full. This is, like you said, been going on for some time. We've been in Burbank. We've been through the city of Burbank. We've been on the 5 freeway. We've been off the 5 freeway. But North Hollywood seems to be the area that he prefers the most. We're right in the North Hollywood area, but we're right by Burbank Airport, which has been making it difficult for the LAPD helicopter along with us. Right now, though, this Honda Accord used to have 3, now has 2 suspects in it, because at one point he lost control of the car. One of the persons in the back jumped out and ran. That was Laurel Canyon to Hart right there, so North Hollywood for sure. But continues on. Our helicopter being held right now because of air traffic in the Burbank area. We don't want to hold up the folks in the paying folks in those passenger jets, and so they've got the right of way. We're going to be waiting here for a minute, but we're going to keep this shot the best we can. This guy's been looking for a spot to bail. This looks like where it's going to be. Making his way onto the park. Nope, couldn't make it. There goes the driver. Going to be running into the park. LAPD on the ground. I just got word from Timmy, my pilot, today that they're going to start letting us out. We got an eye on him. He's got to run, but there's nothing to hide out here. This is a wide open area. LAPD, they might actually take their cars. Then now it might be a little tough for the cars. But this is a bridge taking him over the 170 freeway from that park, continuing to run. You got to think he's got to start running out of energy. It looks like he's slowing down. LAPD, their helicopter, can see him as well. I'm hoping that he's be able to put the light on him. And they're talking about they're going to be bringing other units into the other side of the park out here, running down that embankment there, so that the pedestrian way. What a crazy pursuit. There's that light. They finally got close enough to light him up. We got to wonder, though, he might be able to run under some trees, but see where he can hide.
These are possibly gang members here who have been on the run for at least the last half hour, maybe longer, and a lot of close calls. Even patrol cars almost ran into the suspect at one point. So we have no idea who they're chasing right now, right? The driver, two of them just went in different directions.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is the driver for sure. Chances are this is going to be the person that they want.
Yeah.
Now, when they said maybe there's more than one. Maybe they're known to hang out together. All that LAPD will probably sort out later on. But this is definitely the driver, and you can see down there, it's a fenced area. There's some trees right there. It's right by the 170 freeway. Officers from LAPD down there on the ground right now. They're going to start doing their search. They're going to be looking. That helicopter, one of the reasons he might have shut off, I'm going to try to get confirmation on that, is he might have tried to go to FLIR, that infrared, but not 100% on that. These guys down there, they're continuing to run. I didn't see him along that fence line, but they might have some information that he's in that area down there. Of who the suspect they wanted the most? Well, they want that driver for sure. But is he the wanted suspect, the homicide suspect? They never really said the driver is. They just said somebody in that vehicle. One of the persons got out the back of that vehicle earlier on in that pursuit, and then of course you saw the driver jump out. We haven't seen the other passenger. I'm wondering if that person's in custody, but LAPD is starting to get their ground units in place. This might turn into a perimeter out here in the North Hollywood area.
And we've seen this guy blow through a few lights, have quite a few close calls, but no actual collisions. Now we just know at least one of them wanted for murder, so they don't want to lose this guy for sure.
Okay, thank you.
There he is. There he is. doing a
Two people
carjacking.
running.
Doing a, no, he's doing a carjacking.
Oh.
Wow.
He just carjacked that car.
Wow, this is pretty intense. We have a murder suspect possibly who just carjacked somebody. It doesn't look like anybody is injured right now, but there he goes getting behind the wheel of another vehicle. This started off with 3 suspected gang members in a vehicle. At one point, one suspect bailed. Whoa! Oh goodness. Okay.
There you go.
Head-on collision with a police car.
When they start getting to this type of situation, this is when the more force will start being shown. You can see the hands up inside that vehicle, but with this type of aggression and that type of want, officers are going to be on very heightened alert out there. Staying a little bit wider because we don't want to show anything like that on television. But you can see the hands up. If I see that door open, I'll push it a little bit more. But obviously you can see very tense moments out here. That suspect carjacking a vehicle, don't know if it was just bodily force. That's the term that law enforcement uses, meaning, maybe he didn't have a gun, maybe he just grabbed the guy and threw him out. We saw that picture a little bit later, but you can see hands up and both hands out the window right now. Officers still got their weapons out. They're not going to slow this thing or let their guard down until that guy's got his cuffs on him. But you saw that aggression once this thing turned and another person was carjacked. Officers from LAPD taking that step to bring this to an end. You can see they've got their guns drawn, hands are out, but right now this is going to be a little bit more than just the felony stops we've seen. There's going to be a lot of commands given, a lot of talk, and a lot of things to do to get this guy out of that car. Hopefully it will still end peacefully, but what a wild ride for sure. A homicide suspect now starting to open the door, probably going to be going into custody here in just a moment.
Stu, does it look like this guy is in the car alone, or do you think there's any more people in the car with him?
No, it actually looked like there was a passenger, and he saw that the other door was open. He pulled the driver out and ran around the other side and got in the passenger side. Very, very bizarre move. He was probably just, that wasn't planned. But he saw that opportunity, he took it, and bringing it to a crashing end out here. LAPD, maybe intentionally, maybe not intentionally, but blocking that vehicle as it came to an end out here. LAPD taking this guy into custody. He's on the ground. You can see the cuffs going on him. And of course, they're going to check that vehicle. I'm still working on the passenger. I don't know if the passenger is in custody or the person that jumped out the back of the vehicle earlier on in the pursuit, but definitely the driver now in custody, and this is the guy they definitely wanted to get.
Definitely a surprise ending there, Stu. We weren't expecting this second.
Well, plus, police always pursue with so many vehicles. You wonder why they have so many involved. They had so many following that there was one side of the chase that they were pursuing him, but clearly made some sort of perimeter where the other group was able to close in and catch him when he was leaving. Who knew he was going to carjack somebody, but they were right there.
And it looks like we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, possibly a gang member, possibly wanted for murder, but you can see the suspected carjacker, the guy who took police on a pursuit, now in custody. Thank you, Stu. And now to our top story.
The ceremonies in Las Vegas. Tonight, a stunning tribute is being unveiled in memory of the victims of the worst mass shooting in modern American history. A new remembrance wall was dedicated at the Las Vegas Healing Garden 1 year after a deadly massacre. We're just hours away from the exact moment when a gunman began opening fire on random people at a concert.
And it's just one of the many observances the city is taking part in to honor the 58 people who died. Nearly 900 others were injured. Half of those.
Center of the screen, just underneath the tree. And we're being held by Burbank, so it's going to be a while, and I don't know when we can dip down. And if you guys are on the internet and you're doing the, why are you looking for the limelight? We want to talk to that guy. Don't you want to hear what he's got to say? Because I sure the heck do. And that's what we're trying to do right now. All right, look, because it's going to be in chunks. The last 3 on this is going to be 214. The 2 letters before the 214 is going to be Quebec Sierra. Let me see if I can clean this up. All right, it's going to be 6 Sierra, Quebec Sierra, 214. 6 Sierra, Quebec Sierra, 214.